G'day YouTube, my name's Lance. Welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, the weather report, 6 to 25. Lovely days. Bit chilly in the morning, but that's okay. 25's nice working weather. Yeah, it's just very comfortable. And I still haven't got my coat going though, but on the on the weekend, the club was offered a sausage sizzle at Bunnings. Now, Bunnings is it's a big hardware chain in Australia, and they offer clubs a sausage sizzle. You know, and people come and it's just look, it's a piece of bread, white bread with a sausage in it, and you can have with or without onion. So you got to put the onion in the sausage and all that. So, and I think they sell for $3.50 or something like that, $2 for a drink. And Bunnings set the prices, but the club had one. And last Saturday we spent mostly buggering around getting stuff organised and getting the eskies loaded and all that sort of thing. And then Sunday we went in to do that. So Sunday morning, about 20 past 6 or something, I was on my tractor on the 135 with the carryall on and the sign on the back, heading into town. I had my coat on then, and heading into town so I could park it near where we had our sausage sizzle. I took my 135 in, and Dave Rocket took his Chamberlain in and his little Morris Ute in, and yeah, it got a bit of interest. Dave's had an op, he couldn't do much sausage sizzling, but the rest of us did, yeah. A couple of blokes like Ed did for a couple of hours, which is Ed and Trevor, they often do it. Then I took over, and then yeah, we had four people went for lunch, and so all of a sudden there was no one to relieve anyone. And I ended up cooking sausages for like 4.5 hours, you know, cooking and handing them out for about 4.5 hours straight. And the fellas come back from lunch, and I said to one bloke, "You want to take over?" I said, "I've been here for about 4.5 hours now." And he said, "Oh, poor fool you." He said, "I wouldn't have done that." But there was no one else, so they were all pissed off, so that's fine. And yeah, Jude and Margaret, they were like at the front. You have the ladies that take the money and yell out, you know, one with, one without, and with means with onion, without means without onion. And Judy and Margaret, they stood at the back there for around 7 hours, and one of the ladies come in, Jude says, "Oh, you're here to take over?" "Oh, no, I'm just here to go out for lunch." Off they went. And so they did, yeah, between 6 and 7 hours straight just standing there without relief. And so at the end there, about 2 o'clock they got to sit down. So they started 7 in the morning, and 2 o'clock in the after 2 o'clock when everyone come back, they got to sit down. So yeah, so it sort of doesn't work out real fair. And the other ladies, some of them just sit and do the money, and they don't want to stand up and help at the back there and give these ones a sit down. That's their job, and you stay out the back there. So that's what it feels like. And yeah, but anyway, we help. Yeah, Jan had to go away and Ed had to go. You know, people come and did their thing and off they went, sort of thing. But the rest of us had to stay. And then I had to meet young Indy here. You might have noticed there was a little Triton ute out the front last week for Indy, and he'd had some trouble with it. He'd had some work done to it. Then it's always been one of those little utes that got wet and in the rain, and it'd stop on him. So he bought a new distributor, and we'd arranged Sunday arvo after 3 to fit the distributor and do that. So I said, "Oh, I'm going." Then I was in bloody trouble. "You can't go, you're not allowed to leave here till 3 o'clock. And I said, "Well, I'm going, you know." And they were going crook because they thought I was taking my ute away too early. And but the tractor was there all day and didn't bother to notice I was going to hop on the tractor and Jude's ute was there. So I was in strife for that. And I was in strife for a few things. That's all right. I don't think I'm doing another sizzle. I think they can do them if they want them, but I don't think I'll bother. I think the club raised $1,300 out of it. But one old bloke, old Trevor Leeson, yeah, he was on his feet for around 5 hours through the day. He started the early one, then took over. Then when the other blokes, he had about an hour's break in the middle. Then when the others went for lunch, he stood up again, and he was for a couple of hours, and he was knackered. He left at 2 o'clock, and he was buggered. And put in way more than he probably should have. But I don't know what we need the money for anyway. So we'll see how that goes. There's no more until December sometime, the sausage sizzles, so see how we go there. Jude and I have got some of the stuff for the sausage sizzle here, the eskies at the moment and the soft drinks and all that. Well, I'm going to take them all over to the shipping container. The club's got a shipping container over the other side of town. So I'm just going to take it all over there so it's all in the one spot, so it's not who's got that, that's at your place, this is my place, so I'm just going to try and get it all in the one place. So when our rally comes, everyone's not saying, well, who's got the eskies and who's got the soft drinks and who's got the sauce. We'll keep the sauce, the open sauce, refrigerated here, and we'll take that in. And there's some leftover sausages we've frozen for one of our barbecues at the rally, so we'll keep that because it needs refrigerating, but all the rest is going to go back over the container this week sometime, and that'll be okay. But yeah, it was a chilly old drive in, but that was all right. And I just couldn't believe that people were walking past the tractor and bugger around and didn't see it there. But anyway, that's fine. But most of my week last week, apart from club stuff, like I hop up early and have a look at the computer, do emails and that. I have dinner and hop on the computer, and oftentimes Alan and myself are still buggering around at 10 o'clock of an evening, buggering around with stuff. And yeah, I'm actually on my YouTube comments. If I'm a bit behind on, I've been doing a lot of club stuff, but my personal stuff, as in Bundy Bear's Shed YouTube channel and all that, I'm getting behind on that at the moment because there's just not enough hours in the day. So 6 o'clock out of bed, 10 o'clock in bed, and there's just no time. So, but then I do come up the shed and root around. But if I haven't been doing club stuff, I've been trying to work on this Farmall, getting that ready for our rally. And look, I'm getting bloody close. Last week, I think I might have showed you I don't know if I did or not, showed you the table out the front where I was sanding and all that. Yes, I did show you. And well, I got the bonnet, the tank and the nose cone all sanded and sanded a few times. And I thought I had all the little pits out, because I was using that as filler, and I still missed some. But anyway, I'm a mechanic, not a painter, I tell everyone. And so I got the panels painted out the front there, and then we didn't drive a ute or didn't drive anything around. We just kept still. And but in the afternoon, a bloody moth or something, you could see where it landed in the paint and done a couple of breaststrokes and hopped out again because it still wasn't there. But I had these nice, they were nearly neat enough to be pinstripes, So I've left them there. That's just how it is. And it had some grit in it. And look, all I can think of was the wind come from a different direction there for a while, and it might have dropped some shit out of one of the trees here. But anyway, I wasn't that fussed with it. You could feel it in the paint when it dried. And I thought, what do I do with that? Then I went into Autobarn and talking to a bloke there, and he was a panel beater, he was telling me, and spray painter, and yeah, very helpful. And he said, have you thought about sanding it back with 1,000 grit, and that'll sand the top off that? And I was thinking, well, yeah, it might do, but then you're sort of sanding the whole thing down, and I didn't really want to paint it again. And he said, no, if you do it with 1,000, you might be able to buff it back. And so anyway, we're talking buffing pads, and he was telling me, don't use the woolen ones because they clog up too much and they'll burn your paint. The foam rubber ones he likes to use, so I bought them. And he gave me some cutting compound, not the finest stuff they had for show cars, the next one down. And so I've buffed the tank, the bonnet and the nose cone, and look, it's pretty good. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. You'll notice when you paint something with 2-pack, you get this gloss, and it's a shiny, shiny gloss. Well, when you buff the top off, it goes back to a nice sheen. It's not as bright, but it's a nice looking sheen. Well, they've gone to that, and I've just cut them back. I've buffed them, cut them back. Cut all the dags out that I could, and I'd taken them out the back and washed them in fresh water. And I can still see a bit of, when I look across here, I can see a bit of a few finger marks on it and all that. So it does need a soapy wash, but in the meantime, I'm trying to sort the bonnet emblems and things like that. I bought a new Farmall emblem and a new 100 emblem, and the new emblem, the bloody holes don't line up in the bonnet. Same bloody emblem, but they just didn't line up, but it looks good. And But where it says McCormick International above the Farmall on mine, and it's 100 high crop, it's got high crop under the 100. When you do a Google image search for a Farmall 100 high crop, they just have the Farmall 100 high clear, and instead of McCormick International, they just have International. And I could buy a new McCormick emblem, but I can't buy that International one, and I can't buy the high crop. So I've decided to keep the high crop, the International and the McCormick. I've decided to keep them as they are. And on the Bundy Bear Shed Facebook page, I've mentioned it, and I've washed them, I've scrubbed them, I've had them in some of this stuff, in Chemtech Blitz, professional formula, cleans, stains and oxidation from aluminium and stainless. Well, that one didn't work too well, but there's another one here, a Septone product, a Septone Alley Bright, and I didn't buy these for the job. I had these just, I don't know why I had them, but for cleaning shit. And I've put that on and got paint brushes and got it, trying to get the stain out of the stainless, but it's still there. So I got one little badge and I put it in the glass bead blaster, and I just bead blasted it, and then I got the blue Scotch-Brite pads to take the top off, so you've got like a matte finish in the back and a nice shiny, the top off the letters at the front. And they're not chrome, they're pressed stainless steel. So there's been a big mould, there's been a sheet of stainless, and they just go boom, and there's your thing. So so it is stainless and not chrome. So yeah, look, I'm still buggering around with that. I haven't made up my mind yet. People are saying leave them as they are, they're good enough, but I don't like them like that. We'll see. I went to town this morning. Now on the side of the bonnet, they've got like pan head, Phillips head screws, 5/16 UNF. And I couldn't find anything like that around town, UNF. I could get a metric, but you know, the threads are already in there, UNF. So I'm going to go away from standard here, and I could get just an Allen head bolt. And so look, I'm thinking of doing that instead. I know it's not going to be right, but it's going to look good. Just an Allen head bolt with a flat washer under it, and that way. And what I'm looking at doing is if I use the original painted bolts, and I do have one here that I took to town. If I do have those fellas there and paint them all up, well, every time if I want to pull it off to do something or look at something, well, you take the paint off and muck around. So I'm going with the stainless look, I think. But anyway, we'll see. It's going to be close to original, this tractor, but it's not going to be original. It's not going to be. But yeah, I've just been, we got the bolts. I went and got a new air cleaner top for it. The other air cleaner top, when I sandblasted it, had a couple of dings in it and rust, not through, but pits, and I could have bogged it and sanded and ginned around, and I thought, old Dean, the Queensland Tractor Spares, he had one in there, so I said, put that aside for me, eh? And I've just been in there and got that. So what I'll do now, even though this has paint on it, I'll sand all this with a bit of 600, and I still have to paint the centres of the rear wheels, the heavy cast centres. So I'll get this ready, and when I'm painting them, I'll blow a bit of 2-pack on it, just so it's all the same colour. When the muffler, you might remember the exhaust adapter from the manifold to the muffler was all chook shit welded up, and it broke. And my nice new muffler I hadn't hit the ground, so it got a little scratch and a dent, so I can't get the dent out. Look, it's not much, but I painted that yesterday, and I've bought a nice stainless steel clamp to hold it on, so that'll look nice. And I've got the decal set for it, but my tractor had been painted and all that, and I don't know where some of the decals go. Like there's one there's a square yellow one with the patent numbers, and I can imagine them being like where you sit on the tractor. You got your gear stick here, your offset, your steering wheel, but you've got a mudguard there. There's a PDO lever in here. I can imagine the PDO one on top of the gearbox there. The patent one and that I can imagine probably on the guard on the side, but the one on the oil filter was self-explanatory. The one on the breather, the oil filler breather, about washing that in kerosene every so often. That was self-explanatory. The one on the air cleaner, self-explanatory. And on the little gas tank, the little starting gasoline tank, petrol tank, on the side of the bonnet that says gasoline. So that was all self-explanatory. But some of the others, I haven't put them on yet. I don't know where to put them. I'm not sure. There's one that says about hot cooling system. So my mate thinks it goes on the side, on the left-hand side there on the bonnet near the radiator cap. And look, he may be right. But my mate John Dudley, he's telling me he's got a book that tells you where all the decals go. But he can't find it. He's been looking for a couple of days. He can't find it. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But look, I will take you for a walk over there and have a look. I've got bits and pieces. I've still got to put a brake pedal on and things like that. I was buggering around looking at the back tyres. Like the rear tyres, they've got splits in them, and one of the lugs looks like it's starting to lift on one. And look, I've never been happy with it. Even though it holds air, I haven't been that happy with it. And like I had a Farmall AV back probably 12, 15 years ago, Jude and I reckon. And I priced rear tyres then, and they were $800 then plus tubes. And I thought, oh, imagine what they are now. So I've been talking to a few other people, and they're saying, oh yeah, you pay $1,500 for them. They're a dicky size. And I was thinking, God, there's $3,000 on tyres, and then tubes and fitting. And I'm thinking, oh, geez, I probably need some of the old, remember the old type tyre black? It was really thick shit, like tar. And you could put it on your tyres. It was mineral based, not water based, and you could cover up a few sins with it. I can remember working for places, and it went all that stuff went on the old second-hand tractors, and made them, turn pig shit into ice cream. So anyway, I was downtown buying bolts and going to talk to Dean and get some parts. I've got a new grill piece coming in. Dean's bringing that in for me. The grill, the front grill, I've got to clean up my welding bench because it's full of shit, and I've got a lot of panel beating to do. It's got sections going round, but they've been twisted and bumped into things, so I've got to sort that out. And I'll probably try and get that sorted out before the next lot of painting happens. And but yeah, we'll just we'll just see how it all goes. But yeah, the tyres. While I was there buggering around getting parts, I called into my mate at Peter Walton Tyres. Now Peter Walton, that's it. He's a Bundaberg-based tyre fella, and look, I've dealt with Peter for years. Like all the car tyres, the bloody any car tyres, tractor tyres, that I don't even go and price anywhere else. I just go, hey Peter, how you going? Go and have a yarn and see how he goes. And so we're in at Queensland Tractor Spares, and I said I've got to go and get prices on my tyres. And I said, I'm a bit scared about that because I'm probably spent what the tractor's worth now. And I said, all right, place your bets. How much are the tyres? And yeah, Alan said $1,800 each. And yeah, we had a $1,200 and $1,500 sort of thing. And I thought, oh, yeah, here we go. So I thought, went and had a talk to Peter. And so it's 9.5 by 36 is the size. And in BKT brand, 10 ply, $768 each. So that's bloody good. And I can remember like years ago, they were $800, and that was 10 or 15 years ago. And I remember I sold the tractor with the buggered tyre on it, and the bloke saying, oh, the tyre's buggered, I want a new tyre. And I said, well, the reason the price was that, it was a cheap tractor was because that tyre was going down, and I told him it was going down, but I didn't want to buy one at $800. So all this time later from Peter Walton, I was just in there yarning to him, and yeah, so $768, and I said, well, I want new tubes too. I'm not going to put new tyres on, I'm not worried about the tubes. The tubes are $152 each, so for $1,834, we're going to have nice brand new rubber on it. So he said, are you in a hurry? I said, no, as long as I got it before the end of the month, because I want to have this all finished and driving around and make sure it's okay for our rally. So, so I ordered them today. And usually I just buy them off Peter, and I say, oh, how much? I'll fit them myself, because I often, if it's a Fergie, I often buy new rims, Sparx rims or Bearco rims, and put them on, and I keep the old tyres and the old rims that are a bit rusty for holding tractors up, and I trade them to people and things like that. So, so $1,834, and I said, how much to fit them? Because they're hard work getting them off. And he said, oh, $40 a tyre, and I was bloody oath. I said, I'll be bringing them into you. So I've got one of the heavy cast centres out the back, needle scaled, ready for pulling apart and tidying up so I can get it ready to paint. The one on the right hand side with the big heavy cast weight, well, I haven't touched it yet. But now I've ordered the tyres, I'll have to get the centres out and get them painted. And I want to get the rims painted before they put the new tyres on, because doesn't matter how much you try with new tyres, and I know you can let the air out and break the bead and put cardboard in and that, you still get bloody overspray on them a little bit. So I'm really trying to get them done. So that's good, like 1,834 plus 80. So 1,900, a bit over $1,900 for 2 new tyres. I've already got new front tyres and tubes on the front because when I bought the tractor they were buggered anyway. So a bit more money, Lance. What's it matter, eh? So she's cost me a packet, this thing. But anyway, I don't really care. I couldn't find the right coil, and the coil I had on the Ford 2000 over here. See, I have a couple of Sparex coils here, and they've all got the screw-in top, where I just wanted the push-in top. And I only had one coil on the place, would you believe, with that, and I was using it on the Ford 2000 petrol. So I went and stole that, because the coil that come with it, that run with it, it had a hunk out of the top of it, so I couldn't have that. So I got the coil off that, then I cleaned all the paint and shit off, and I've polished it now, and give you a little woody. And so I've polished the coil. The coil bracket I sandblasted, and I've painted that 2-pack red, so I've got a red bracket around a chrome coil. Look, it's looking nice. I'll take it for a little walk around shortly. I've still got to put one tie rod end on. The right-hand brake pedal and that, I was playing with that, trying to get a bit of wear out of it. But I've worked out that I'm just wasting my time with that, so we're going to lock them together and work with that. So I've got to put that on yet. I've got the battery box and that on, but these bloody tractors, when you put the fuel tank on, you can't lift the battery out of the battery box. You've got to take the side off and undo the hydraulic lever and the bloody choke lever to put a battery in. But anyway, actually I should have bought a battery today while I was in town, but anyway, I didn't think of that. But it's a 40 size battery, and the other night when I was playing around seeing what batteries fitted, I took the battery out of the 420 John Deere, and it fits in there perfectly. So I just need to buy another one of those. And and for the moment, because I haven't got, the John Deere battery will go in this tractor, and the John Deere will get a new one. Just because it's easy to do that, I can shuffle like that. So, but that's a silly thing with these bloody tractors, eh? So, anyway, but look, I've got all the oils full. Nothing's leaking now. I haven't filled the coolant up yet because I wasn't 100% sure. I should have bought it. Anyway, another trip to town. I bought the proper Wittek clamps for the top radiator hose, 3-inch, but when you go to do them up, they just lock. So the top radiator hose, I haven't got a clamp on the top there. I've got them sitting on there, but it's just not right. And you can't tighten them up like you're supposed to be able to do this bolt up, and it pulls it in at the top there, and that stretches and locks them on. That was the original International ones, but the bottom ones work perfectly. The top ones, I just can't get them to work. And I was going to buy some worm drives because they're up under the bonnet, and it just would have been a better option. But I went to town, got talking about tyres and talking to Dino and Ross from Queensland Tractor Spares, which, look, he's been there over 10 years. He was with us, and he's back there today, but he's had quite a bit of time off. He's got a pair of new hips. So, but he reckons there this morning he's going okay, but the muscles are a bit sore still. So, but I know they're glad to see him back, because I'd go in there some days, I'd try and leave him alone, because there'd be someone down doing the post, and there'd be 2 at the counter, and the phone would be ringing, and they've really been doing it tough in at Queensland Tractor Spares. Dino wanted to know if I want to go back and do something. I was, no, I don't. So anyway, but look, that's about it for the stew. I've made more mess of the shed. I haven't got the starter motor together yet. It's still sitting in the lathe. It's just while we had lovely days, I really wanted to concentrate on painting and getting the panels done and things like that. So that's what I did. And I thought if we get a few showers of that, I can sort stuff then. But so I've got to rebuild the starter, which is fine. I've got everything to do it. The fuel tap, I got the fuel tap out. I couldn't move it for ages, and I've got the fuel tap out. It's pretty shitty looking, but I'm going to try and restore it and tidy it up. I've had lights inside the fuel tank, and it's bloody beautiful. I expected like rusty scale on the bottom because it's a 54, so it's 71 years old, this tractor. And the fuel tank's bloody lovely. Yeah, it's real good. So anyway, I'm going to do the fuel tap up, do the starter up. I've got to put brake pedals on. I've got a new belt pulley for the back off Rob. I got it painted, cleaned up and painted the other day. And I've got the lights on, and I've got all the wiring pretty well done as per the book there. And it looks, look, the wiring and that looks nice. I've got a new steering wheel nut coming. The old one was a bit rusty, and I put it on and I thought, tight ass. So anyway, but look, we're coming close. Another couple of days. By the end of the week, we must be getting close with it. If I can, over the next couple of days, if I can needle scale all these cast centres and get a bit of red on them, and like red on this, and there was something else. Oh, the radiator cap, a bit of red on the radiator cap. That's about it, I think. I've got the tie rod ends done. I've got to put one on this side. The rubbers I've got are a bit big, but I'm going to leave them on because they sort of match, and see how we go with that. I was looking for a drawbar for it. My mate John Dudley thought he might have had one, but the one he thought was a Farmall one. It's supposed to be 750mm across. He had one for a cub, not for an A or an AV or a Farmall 100. So I haven't got a drawbar. I wouldn't mind finding a drawbar. And John reckons he's got a couple of wheel weights for the front. And I thought, well, it's a tall tractor. Those little wheel weights won't make me too heavy to get around, so I'll probably put the little wheel weights on it. And it's just another option, So we'll see. But look, I'm getting close. I might, before I open the big back door there, I might take you for a little walk around it and just show you what I've been up to. But I think last week I didn't have the mud guards or anything on, but they're on now. The top edge on one needs a buff, I reckon. And when I was doing the tank, right on the joint of the tank, I must have buffed too hard, and I've gone through the paint, so I've got to mask that up and put a little mist of paint on that too. So, but like I say, I'm not a painter. I'm a mud mechanic, and look, I'm enjoying the whole program, the whole show. I've been kicking along. I said to Jude, I have been really enjoying it, and I said to Jude, I'm sort of keen to continue on now. I've had pleasure in doing this tractor. It's good to get away from a Massey Ferguson. Now with the Sparex sponsorship, it had to be Massey or Ford or something like that they had a lot of parts for. They didn't stipulate what I had to work on, but it was just something, and Fergie's fitted the Sparex sponsorship, but just timed out on me. But now I don't have the Sparex sponsorship. It was good to hop into something else, something that I haven't been able to do for. Look, I could have. I just didn't feel I could. And so once that's done, once I've got this thing out, I think I'll jump onto the 65 here and try and finish that. You might also notice that I haven't filmed a lot of what I'm doing there, and look, the reason for that is that I just don't have time, and that's part of the reason I've been enjoying doing it too. Is like when you, like I've got the Massey axle behind the camera here, and I've got to do the final drives and set it up and show how to set it up and film it and all that. And like to do one axle, if I get one axle done in a whole day, I'll be surprised. By the time you get camera setups and lights and parts and all that sort of thing. And then you've got to go home and edit it all together and all that. And that takes a lot of time, and I just don't have it at the moment. But this tractor here, I can roar along flat out. I haven't got to worry about camera setups, lights, where the shadows are. I need another light hanging off the hoist. I need something else. Because I haven't had to do that, I've been able to push the tractor through fairly quickly. Once I get back onto the 65, I'll film one final drive. I'm not going to film them all. I'm very close. So I've just got to do the back end, like the diff and the final drives, and we're about there. Apart from the panels, which is, pain now, bloody painting. Who'd want to paint tractors? Talking to Kempy the other day, neither of us, we reckon we're not good painters. And I said, I can stand back and just blow paint over every bloody thing and hope it sticks, and that's how we work. Just stand back. Yeah, here's a little story. Back years and years ago, and this was when I was in my apprenticeship. And so it was in the late 1970s. And while I was at TAFE, Maryborough TAFE, my grandfather in Victoria died. And Dad's an only child, so he went down to look after the estate and be with his mother and all that sort of thing. And they didn't even tell me because I was at TAFE having exams, and they didn't want to bugger that up. But anyway, Dad went down and he sorted stuff out, and next thing he says, "Oh, I've got a job for you." And I was, "Oh yeah, what's this, Dad?" And they had a little Ferguson TE20 down on the farm, down at Colac, Victoria. It was at Irrawillippi, and his name was Frank Maskell, and yeah, he died. He went down to Lawn fishing, and they found him on the rocks. You know, he just must have had a turn, and that was it. And so Dad went down to sort it out, and they used to have. I remember him with an old Fordson Major, an E1A one, I think it was. And but anyway, Dad must have took a shine to the TE20, the Fergie, and so Mum was whinging about it the other day, you know, and anyway, he decided to bring this TE20 home, and so he chucked it on the rail and got it home. And Mum was saying the other day, remember that tractor your father did, and it cost him more to get it there than the thing was worth, and all that. And I thought, oh, yeah, okay. And but anyway, he got the tractor, and he wanted me to do a coat of paint on it. And, well, we didn't have spray guns or any of that sort of thing, nothing. And he had some paint, and he says, well, use this. And it was a bloody degreasing gun. And I thought, how am I going to do that? And the old man, he was tight, like would not spend $1, and wouldn't go and buy a spray gun or anything just for one tractor, because it must have cost him, Mum might have been up his ribs for it costing so much money getting it from Victoria to Yandina, which is on the Sunshine Coast. So anyway, I had this tractor, and so anyway, I ginned around with this thing, and I ended up painting it with a degreasing gun. And look, by all accounts, I come out good. Like, I can't remember thinking, holy shit, but yeah, I had the spray and bloody ginned around, and I can just imagine what it looked like now. But look, at the time he was happy. He didn't have to buy a spray gun. He had the paint, and I could gin around with the paint enough to get it on, and on the main frames and all that sort of thing with this bloody degreasing gun. And he ended up selling it and everything, no worries. But anyway, so yeah, once upon a time I painted a tractor with a degreasing gun. So you can just imagine it, eh, what it would have looked like. But anyway, I can't remember it being a bad job, you know, and I did my apprenticeship with Norm Siegel's farm machinery in Yandina on the Sunshine Coast. And look, for the first probably 12 months, I was out the back painting tractors and sanding, painting, and that was your job. You were out the back, and he'd come out, how you going with this? And you're taking too long, and all that sort of stuff. But and I learned the basics, but I've never been a 100% good spray painter. But I'm finding now, as I get older, like when I'm buggering around the shed here, I always have my glasses on, and I need them to see what I'm doing. But of course, when I'm spray painting, I don't have glasses on because I'll end up full of overspray. So I'm finding nowadays that, say if I paint that, I'll go round and I'll think I've got it all. Then later on I have a look, and there's just a little bit where it's a bit thin here, where I could have been a bit thicker. So I've noticed that on the oil filler cap. It's just a little bit thin at the back. And you can't see it. When you must go blind. When you've got a spray gun in your hand, you go blind. Yeah. And look, and years ago, I used to paint a tractor, and I'd get Jude and I'd say, hey, come and pick shit out of this for me, will you? And she'd walk around and say, oh, yeah, that's good. Or, oh, you missed a bit here. Oh, okay, so you did that. But yeah, so I think, spray guns send you blind to a point. But as I get older, I notice I'm just missing these little edges just a little bit more. But anyway. All right, enough waffle from me. I'll go handheld, and I'll show you what all the fuss is about. Okay, so here's the tractor. You can see I've got the mud guards on now. And look, they got a nice gloss to them. Look, there's nothing wrong with that. I've got the seat on, and I've left the plastic on the seat. new toolbox under here that I got painted. I haven't put the belt pulley on here yet, but you can see I've got the wiring harness for the back light, and that's something I didn't buy the international back light for it. It was like $100 and something bucks US. I was going to get like a Fergie one and put here with a switch on it, but look, I keep forgetting to even do that. I've got the dash all together there. That's looking okay. I've got the decal for the headlights. That's the original switch. Now there's a 6-volt switch and a 12-volt switch, and they have a resistor coil in the back for sending the lights dull or bright. I've rejigged that. I've taken the resistor out and I've just set it up as a straight switch, so that should be okay. I've got all the touch control gauges and all sitting up there. You can see the shine across the bonnet. That's not too shabby. The steering wheel's here, and the shitty nut that we're replacing. The top of the battery box, I've painted that. You can see the bits of shitty nut. Actually, I should buff that. I will, I think. Yeah, coming down this side, I've got the touch control bits and pieces. I was bugging around, that's in the wrong spot. I've just got it sitting up there, just fiddling on this side. The Farmall ones, I've got the headlights are all on now. I'll open the front door here. Now, I leave that door closed quite often for the stew because it flares out. But I've got a few parts on the floor to put on here. The tie rod end over there. I bought a new international badge for it. The muffler come up nice yesterday. I'm happy with that. Yeah, you can see, look, the gloss is pretty good. There's a little low spot there, if you have a look. But look, all in all, I shouldn't be whinging. It's okay. We've got quite a nice gloss going along there. But yeah, these badges, if you look real close, you can see the stains, and you can't, they're just sitting. This has got the screws on the back, the nuts on the back, and so is the 100, but the rest are just sitting in place. But yeah, you can see the dark marks on them, on the letters. So I'm not fussed with that. The temp gauge is on. The coil, I polished the coil. I was going to put a new dizzy cap on. I may do that yet, I don't know. You can see the wiring harness coming through. The battery box side's on. But you can see here, like by the time you have the tank here, the touch control temp gauge there, you've actually got to pull the side off the battery box. I've got this loose over here to get the battery in. I'll go around that other side again. And I have to fix the grill yet. But yeah, so to get the battery in, I've got to undo this touch control lever, which I've got the pin out to do that. And I can fold it out of the way. And the choke here, look, I might be able to get it past the choke rod. But yeah, this comes out, but yeah, it only just comes out. I may have to lift the fuel tank yet. Here's a bit of bloody puffing compound there. What sort of show you running here, lads? And a couple of things, like these bolts should be painted, but I'm thinking I'm just going to leave them. And up here, these are the screws. There's more screws that hold the grill in, and they're the ones I'm just going to make into stainless Allen head screws, I think. We'll see. But all in all, look, she's looking pretty good. If we come outside here, there's one of the tyres I'm replacing. You can see the cracks through here. Look, they're not bad. They'd be all right to hold the tractor up. But you know, I'll bring them home and just hock them off to a mate. Someone wants to stand them up, but I've got to unbolt this big heavy weight, needle scale that, needle scale all the centre here, pull the centre out of the rim, and paint the rims. I've got the front rims over there. They have been painted once, but I'll do them again. And this other rim, which was on the left hand side, yeah, I've needle scaled all that. And this tyre's not as bad, a few cracks, but anyway, it's going to have new ones, so that's going to be all right. So I'll probably try and get them done today. Now I've ordered the tyres, and just so I can have the rims ready. I don't want them to say, "Oh, your tyres are here," like in 3 or 4 days' time, and I'm thinking, "Oh shit, I haven't done the rims yet." So we'll see how we go. But there you go. That's just about everything I've been spending my time on lately, is the old Farmall 100. I know I whinge about things on it, but it is pretty good. It'll look nice when it's done. So there you go. I better bloody, put my glasses on and get to work. Catch you all next week, eh?